Good morning and welcome to Iyun Benzion. Yevamos daf Chaf number 21. We have a Gemara on the bottom of Chaf Beis going to Chaf Aleph and Aleph on the top. The Gemara says Itmar, the last two lines, Bias Kohen Gadol ben Almana. Let's say an Almana, a Kohen Gadol is Boel when there's Yibum, right? His brother was married to an Almana. He's a Kohen Gadol. His brother's not a Kohen Gadol. He's married to Almana. She was an almana, and she falls to Yibam along with a Sarah, along with another woman who's not an almana. Now he does Yibam on the almana. He does Bia, right? There's going to be a distinction between Bia and Be'ila. Bia means to come, to release Zera. Not Be'ila is Lashon Baal, of being a husband, Lashon Nisuin, when you have marital relations where it's called Tashmish Hamita, where you don't just engage in the final act of Bia. There's a prelude to that, foreplay, and that would be considered Be'ila. That would be considered something which is husband and wife do, the Baal. So let's say you have Bia. There's Bia. Sometimes in the Torah it says Lo Yavo Mamzer V'Kal Hashem. Sometimes it says V'Lakach Leisha. But even it says two things. It says Yevamo Yavo Ala Bia. V'Lakach Leisha. Lakicha again is Lashon Nisuin. V'Lakach Leisha. Seemingly there's two mitzvahs by Yibam. Yevamo Yavo Ala to do Bia, and therefore there's a kinyan of Yibam. We mentioned yesterday there's two kinyanim by Yibam. There's a kinyan of Yibam and there's a kinyan of Nisuin. That's why the Gemara has to darshan. V'Lakach Leisha tells me it becomes Isha l'chol davar. Why tell me Isha l'chol davar? You did Yibam, you become your wife. The word is that doing Yibam, Bia, just a Bia, the Gemara says on Nun Hey, the Gemara defines what's Bia. Either it's the Shika, the Aver, the penis touches the area, or it's Hachnas Torah, the head of the penis goes inside, then it's considered to be Bia, a Kinyan Yibam. But it's not a Kinyan Nisuin. Nisuin has to be a Be'ila. This is part of the explanation I'm giving over here already. So that's the discussion. Bia Kohen Gadol. The Bia of a Kohen Gadol only does Bia. So there's only eligible to make a Kinyan Yibam. That's why he's Yevamo Yavo all that. If he does Bia, he's Kohen of the Yibam. V'Lakach Isha, he has to continue to be with her, and then he lives together like a husband. That's the Be'ila, and that would be Nisuin, and that's the secondary mitzvah by Yevama to do Kinyan Nisuin. So, but let's say just as a Bia. So Yochanan, one says that Poteras Rasa, one says it doesn't bother the Sarah. Now the discussion over here is the Gemara explains on Chaf Aleph and Aleph at the top. Obviously, we're talking about Almana Mina Erisin. She wasn't previously married. She was previously married to Essay Velos Essay. Kohen Gadol, the Essay, mitzvah of Essay. He was not Docha Losay and Essay, so therefore it wouldn't get started. But the case is Almana Mina Erisin where there's an Essay Docha Losay, presumably. So the one holds Poter Saras, holds essays, those essay. So therefore, when he does Yevamo Yavo all that. So he's allowed to do that. So does that mean he's allowed to live with her? He's not allowed to live with her. And I want to suggest that, right? It says Almana Grusha Lo Yikach. Kohen can't be Yikach. He can't be married. Because even if he tries to be married, we always tell him we force him based on this kofa him. Kidashto, they force him to get unmarried. You can't stay married to a grusha or to a almana l'kohen gadol. You have to end that marriage. They really technically never have a nisuin. They can't be married, but they could have a kinyan yibum, or they could have a kedushin. They could have a yibum, a kinyan yibum. They can't have a kinyan nisuin. So essay is dochel. If you hold essay is dochel, let's say, so then it's pater sarasa, and it would be put to the sarah. It affects a kinyan yibum. Because that's his dochalos, part of the Sarah. Now it's never going to generate any suin because again, an almana l'kohen gadol, even the essay is dochalos, the yibum, when you're not allowed to be married to. But essay, the Mandamar says doesn't part of the Sarah says even though normally essay is dochalos, but here you have an option to do chalitza. So you have a mitzvah chalitza you could do. You don't have to do it like Rish Lakish said yesterday. So therefore, we wouldn't say essay dochalos. Rishonim asked the question. Rashi says on Chaf Beis. Rashi says, "Poter," the last Rashi. Osa v'esaras minachalitza v'sagi la beget. Now, if the Mandamar is poter esarasa holds, you become fully married to her and you need a get. So the Rishonim asked the question according to Rashi's pshat. it doesn't really make any sense because the machlokas. Why do you have to come on to potera sarasa or not? We should be talking about the woman herself. Do you need a get from her or not? If you hold essay docha say, so then you need a get because you're married. You need a get. If you essay is lo docha, not docha say, right? Because you do chalitza, so then you wouldn't need a get. You have to do chalitza. So it's more direct machlokas. Why are you talking about the pot to the surah? So the answer is obviously based on what I'm saying, and these other Rishonim I'm going to have to learn. Other posts I'm going to have to learn. Not like Rashi that. For sure, both Mandamrim hold bias alman l'kan since there's never any nisuin, there could never be a kinyan nisuin over here, and there'll never be a get. Only v'lachal leisha tells me that he comes ishta l'chol davar, and nisuin is effectuated, and they need a get to end the marriage. But otherwise, it's just a kinyan yibum. It never affects anything, and therefore you would only chalitza would terminate it, not get. Both Mandamrim. You can't be married. So there's never a nisuin over here. There's only an eris, only a kinyan yibum. So that's basically what we're saying, or that would answer that question. Now, the Gemara then says, so then the Gemara brings a question. The Gemara says, how could the Mandamar say that it doesn't pot to that it pot to the Sarah? It doesn't pot to the Sarah. It is pot to the Sarah because the Gemara brings a brisa yesterday by a sris, right? A man who's emasculated. It says lo yavo psuadak of krushafka b'chal Hashem. It says ubalu kanu. The brisa says that a sris he does yibum, even though he's not allowed to do yibum, he's allowed doing yibum. He was kona. The yibum is effectuated. It is a kinyan, so it is a kinyan. So you see, how could you say the essay is not docha l'osay? We see the essay is docha l'osay, even that you could do chalitza. So the Gemara says tiyufta. You're right. It's a good proof. I think where it says Leima Tevi Tiyufta the Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish is the one who says this, that when you have way out, we don't say this is docha you can do chalitza. So the Gemara defends Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish because Reish Lakish is not bothered in Baal Kanu. How does he get it? Because here he says chalitza makom yibum lab mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah. Now Reish Lakish said on Chafam Aleph and Beis, Reish Lakish is the one. Right, Reish Lakish says it in a general way, but the Gemara assumed Efshar b'chalitza. So what's the Gemara saying before? The Gemara said Efshar b'chalitza, and now the Gemara is not. The Gemara is saying chalitza makom yibum lav mitzvah. Is it a mitzvah or is it not a mitzvah? We know that chalitza is a mitzvah, right? Even nowadays, for sure, there's no mitzvah to do yibum. There's no mitzvah to do yibum anymore, because we say it's better to do chalitza. We know chalitza is a mitzvah in the Torah. It's counted among the minyan of mitzvahs. You could do chalitza. So I'm going to say like this, that of course chalitza is a mitzvah, but the question is, what about if you do the kinyan yibum, but you haven't done the kinyan nisuin? That's what Reish Lakish is talking about. Reish Lakish is talking about if you haven't done the kinyan yibum, you did a bia, like bia salman al, but you haven't done a beila, you haven't had done foreplay, you haven't had a real marital relation with the wife. So then with the Yevamos, so then that's what Reish Lakish, that's the Gemara is saying. Once you do the kinyan yibum, you do the bia, you haven't done the beila, so then you already started the yibum. You're a koner b'yibum. There's no mitzvah of chalitza anymore. And then you have to finish. Even nowadays, if you do that, you do the kinyan yibum. You have to finish. You have to continue living with her like a husband, and finish it off and be married, completely married to them. That's then chalitza is not a mitzvah. Then chalitza is not a mitzvah. And the question from the sris, from the emasculated man in balu kanu, that's not a question anymore according to Reish Lakish, because there's a difference between Alman al-Kohen Gadol and a Sris, right? There's different Lashonos. By Alman al-Kohen Gadol, it says Lo Yikach, no Kicha, there's no Nisuin. By Kruz Shavcha and Psuadaka, it says Lo Yavo, no Bia. There's no Bia. So there is Nisuin, that's what the Gemara is saying. You can have Nisuin. You're not allowed to do Bia by a Kruz Shavcha, but you could have a Nisuin. You could effectuate a Nisuin. You could effectuate a Kinyan. Masha Ein Kain, by Yibum, you can't be Alman al-Kohen Gadol. You can't be married there. You can't remain married. There's never any suing over there. So that's what Reish Lakish says. When I'm talking about a case where you did the bia. The question is the beila in balu kanu. That's the brayz in balu kanu. Balu kanu. Yeah, you can have beila. You can be kona beila. There's an isser to do a bia by kruz shafcha. But there is it could affect you in the You could be married to the person. If you marry, Kruz Shafcha marries a woman, so they're considered married. You can't do the bia. It is to do the bia, but you're married. You could be married. But Alman al-Kohen Gadol can never stay married. There's no nisuin over there. So in Balu Kanu, by talking about the stris, so over there in Balu Kanu, so therefore technically you could be married to them. that's not a stira over here. But here we're talking about alman l'kohen gadol, where there's no nisuin over there. So that's the way of differentiating between the two. I hope you enjoyed that. See you tomorrow.